Hey, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to finish up this wiring harness, so come along. So I know you guys are probably getting sick of wiring, so I'm going to try and do just one video for the rest of this. So tonight, I'm not really going to film too much of it because it'd just be me sitting here. I'm going to put the bulkhead connector in. It's going to go in about right here. And then once that's in, we can actually start like sheathing the rest of this harness out. I've never put a bulkhead connector in, so it's going to be interesting. Got all my crimps and everything here, and I mean, I think I know what I'm doing. We'll see, you know. Can't be that hard, right? Other people do it. So I'm just gonna do one wire at a time, and we'll just kind of play it by ear, and eventually it'll get done, right? So I'll film again when I'm all done, or if something comes up, but otherwise I'm just gonna leave the camera off and just get this done. So see you guys in a little bit. Well, I've got the bulkhead connectors all done, and I've kind of got it all capped on, taped up where I think the transitions are gonna be. So it's time to start actually putting some sheathing on this. I'm gonna do little bit by little bit. We're not going to be able to put the connectors on and stuff yet, so we got to be careful where we sheath it, because I'm waiting for some heat shrink labels from my buddy Dusty. So goal today, get most the sheathing on, and I'll be super happy, because that means the harness is basically done. We do have to add a couple things like the starter signal, wideband, it still has to get wired. I ran out of pins on the bulkhead. And a couple other little things, but we'll play it by ear. So let me get this started getting heat shrinked, and we'll go from there. Hold on, this is hot. Ooh, that's a heat gun. Yep, I'm shrinking it right now, yep. Well, I'm done for right now. I got to order some more supplies. I totally ran out of the correct size tubing. That's mostly because I kind of changed how I measured. Not how I measured, how I ran the harness, and wanted to do things a little bit differently as I was building it. But here's a rough overview. Comes out. I put that boot on wrong. I thought the one side was the T. It'll be fine. Comes up here. It's going to T underneath for all those. T's right there again, up for our Rife sensor. And it comes over here. I gotta put a adhesive boot on there, up for the flex fuel sensor. All the wires on the side over here are coils and injectors. Over here we have coils, injectors, and cam sensor. Then the middle stuff here is the T-map, the oil pressure, the coolant temperature pressure, throttle body, and alternator, and crank sensor. So this is really where I miscalculated what I was going to do, but not a big deal. So I'm going to order a bunch of the sheathing again right now. It's about $100 worth of sheathing, so cool. And then we just got to wait for the labels to come, and we can put connectors on this, and harness is done at that point. Mind you, we still have to do a little bit of inside wiring with like powering the Innovative Tuning diff controller, the starter, we actually have to power the coils, power the injectors, stuff like that, but not too terribly worried about that. That'll be easy, but main harness is almost done. So let's pick back up with you guys when all my materials come in. Made some good progress on the harness the other night. We gotta make the hole for the bulkhead connector. So the first thing we gotta do is we gotta, you know, make our circle here. .38 millimeters. Well, hole saws wobble, so we'd have to go probably like 1.25 inches. Well, that's where I'm gonna let Jason do all this all. And once we get that all figured out, we'll pick back up with you guys. So I started putting on some of the connectors here, and figure I'll bring you guys along for the ride. I'm gonna do the coil packs. I'm not going to do the grounds of the coil packs. I'm just going to do the power and the signal because I want to make the ground like a little bit different. And then we can move our way over to like the crank sensor and all the stuff up here. And then we'll just kind of work our way that way, I think, is going to be the plan of attack. I got to pull up the diagram for the coil packs. I thought I printed it. Realistically, what I really wanted to do when I was first thinking about doing this harness is I actually wanted to do like a little 6-pin DTM connector on the coil harnesses, because at some point I want to go to R35 coils and then I wouldn't have to redo the whole harness. But honestly, I kind of want to redo this harness anyway with tefzel wiring at some point. Not that I don't think I did a good job on this harness. I think I've done a stellar job. Just for some tefzel harness, I would have done a concentric twist. It would have been smaller, and there were extra wires that I had to like take out and stuff like that. Just easier when you're doing a realistically custom setup like this. My rally card build back in the day when we went to the WRX harness and everything, since it was still a single overhead cam, we had to figure out how to adapt coils. Well, Subaru had made coil unplug single overhead cam engines near the end of the EJ25 cycle. And the plug connector was the exact same, so I just plugged them in. Well, the wiring wasn't the same. I smoked 4 coils like immediately. When I looked at the wiring diagram, I made the fatal mistake of hooking the power straight up to the ground on the coil. Yeah, let the magic smoke out of that really fast. Still have to hook up the wastegate, but EMAP's hooked up. Fuel injector 1, coil 3, fuel injector 2, cam position. So now we'll come over here and we'll start working on these. I think what I'm going to do is I'll shut it off again here real quick, and I'll get the pin out for throttle body and the RIFE sensor and stuff. That way I don't have to keep turning on, turning off, turning on, turning off. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll pick back up with you guys. Ta-da! Hi Josh. Hi. Hi Josh. So I didn't film too much of the rest of the wiring here because Josh came and we were just talking with Jason and everything, but the engine is technically all wired. I'm gonna say technically, but not really. I don't have the NOx sensor wired up yet. I'm actually not even sure if I'm really gonna wire it up. Mostly because if you ever dealt with a built Subaru engine, they kind of tend to be a little noisy. I don't really feel like dealing with false knock, but it's already there, so I'm probably just gonna do it. I can always turn it off later. And the electronic wastegate isn't wired yet. And that's because I left the pin out. But other than that, oh, and the coil grounds. Yeah, so we got that all done. We got to finish bolting it on. I did leave a little bit of extra loom showing and stuff. I didn't want to get myself in a pickle where if we ever needed to make changes, it was too short. So, shame on me, I guess, but I'm not too worried about it. You got the coolant temp and coolant pressure and oil temp, oil pressure. Crank. Need a weld fitting on top of here for the T-map. This is temperature and a 4-bar map sensor. Drive-by-wire, alternator control, flex fuel, injectors and coils. I get the RIFE sensor. So there's obviously stuff that we still have to do Inside still looks pretty bad, but not as bad. A lot of these wires here are for like diff control and accelerator pedal. Deal with that here in a little bit. Probably in the next video, but wideband is here too. So what we're gonna do about that kind of stuff is I have DT12 bulkhead connector. So that's gonna go right down here. So what's gonna go through this is the wideband wiring, the starter wire, and the diff controller wires. So we'll wire this in when we do the interior wiring and everything like that. And the other cool thing I got here. Any guesses? Any guesses? Can keypad. Either way, that's where I'm gonna leave this video. I know it's kind of been a little bit all over the place, and that's, you know, wiring videos just don't seem like they do that well. So it's just one of those things that I'm just trying to speed it along, just get it done. If you guys are looking forward to more drag WRX content, make sure you subscribe. We are shooting for May 30th to be at our first test and tune with this car, which is like 4 weeks away. I still think we can do it. It may look like there's a lot to do yet, but it's small stuff at this point. So I think it's doable, but we'll see you guys next time.